What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Back in the mix here. It is Danny Burke with BurkeSpeed.com, ready to talk some NFL Survivor Contest strategy with you. I've got 3 entries that I'm going to be focusing on for conversational purposes when I post these videos, articles, whatever it may be. So I'm going to tell you my strategy going forward. If you want to follow it, cool. If not, so be it. Just dishing out my 2 cents. So throughout this week 1 slate, the obvious choice that everybody has been discussing ad nauseum, and probably everybody and their grandmother are going to be playing, and hey, by the way, if your grandma's playing Survivor, props to her, cool granny, it's the Baltimore Ravens, double-digit home favorites against the Houston Texans. New rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud, new head coach and coaching staff with DeMeco Ryans leading the charge. Not high expectations, especially right away in a tough Baltimore spot for this Houston unit. So that's why Baltimore seems like the obvious option. The issue with wanting to play Baltimore right away is that then you can't use them the remainder of the year. And there are a handful of spots where they could be a really solid pick. I would probably say the spot you'd want to use them would be week 14. They're coming off a bye week and they get to host what could be one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Los Angeles Rams. So if you're lucky enough to make it to week 14, you're probably going to be a little upset if you would have already used the Ravens as a survivor play. But if you have multiple entries like myself, I think that's why you would only put the Ravens as 1 entry as opposed to numerous entries. And heck, maybe you don't even want to use them at all. I have no issues with that too. That's how I originally was thinking it, because then I was looking to go Minnesota, Washington. But now I've changed my mindset a little bit to going Minnesota, Washington, and Baltimore. Baltimore being that security blanket, the team I have the most confidence in, and more of a just to play it safe kind of entry, right? So the reason I'm looking at Minnesota, there is no other spot I'd want to use the Vikings in this upcoming schedule. Now, I do think they're an underrated team, relatively speaking, coming into this year after winning the division, still retaining a lot of those strong offensive pieces, getting Brian Flores to help aid a terrible defense. This team should still be pretty strong. However, again, tough schedule, first place schedule, and the Vikings always find ways to shoot themselves in the foot. Make these games way more stressful and annoying than they need to be. But against the Buccaneers, who now have a different quarterback in the mix, a little bit different of a quarterback than their last one, going from the GOAT Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield, Mr. Commercials himself. Yeah, I don't think the Bucs are going to be set up nicely in this week 1 opportunity, especially in a tougher road environment against the Minnesota squad that may come in again with sort of a chip on their shoulder, with some alleviation of the pressure they had last year. Should be a good spot there for the Vikings. So that's why I love them in this survivor spot. But again, hesitant to go 2 entries with them in case they just completely Minnesota all over the place and find a dumb way to lose this game. The other entry, as I alluded to, the Washington Commanders, also going to be one of the most popular selections. At no other point in the season am I looking to use the Commanders. Heck, I bet under 6.5 for their win total. But if there is a spot, it's certainly week 1 against another team that could end up being toward the very bottom of the standings, the Arizona Cardinals. Tossing out Joshua Dobbs out there to play the quarterback position. Brand new coaching staff, not a lot of weapons, and not a lot of excitement down in the desert. So again, the Commanders about a touchdown favorite. They set up beautifully in this position. So I'm going Minnesota, I'm going Washington, and then for that security blanket, going to toss in Baltimore. Best of luck with whatever you end up choosing, though, for your Survivor Contest entries. Should be a fun and hopefully long year for us. And we'll talk again soon where I dish out my other best bets heading into Sunday. But until that point, folks, best of luck and take care.